to sleep now, third grader of mine. The test is tomorrow, but you'll do just fine. It's reading and math, forget all the rest. You don't need to know what is not on the test.
We are talking about standardized testing today. Here's the question: how much is too much? Are we doing a disservice in the end to students through the way that standardized testing is currently done? Is No Child Left Behind working? And what can the key stakeholders, the parents, the students, the teachers, and others in the community do to ensure that students are in fact properly prepared? Let me move this over a little bit. That students are properly prepared to enter the college world or the working world when they are finished with their schooling. So that's what we're going to be talking about this evening. And it is important to mention that you will be hearing from a variety of people, from a variety of backgrounds and types of expertise. But I think what you'll hear is that the point of this discussion is really to take a long, hard look at standardized testing and to ask some hard questions about its overall effectiveness.
As PTA president for the state of Pennsylvania, I received many, many phone calls throughout the school year from parents regarding high-stakes testing. One that really sticks out in my mind was of a student of a parent, a child of a parent, who was so wrought with anxiety and stress and frustration that the school actually provided a crying room for those students who couldn't handle taking the stress of the PSSA.
One of my favorite expressions or sayings about public education is that education is not about filling a pail, it's about lighting a fire. And to me, there's very little that leads us away from lighting a fire and towards filling a pail more than making testing the be-all and end-all of measuring academic achievement.
When a test gets to that point, then we all need to really stop and think about what we're doing.
It's actually changed quite dramatically with the implementation of the No Child Left Behind Act and the mandated testing and the pressures that schools are now experiencing that they really hadn't experienced in such a degree before.
I have concerns about the kids, but I have concerns about our new teachers that are coming into the profession, and they think that this emphasis on testing is what education is all about.
I think they need to look at what impact it's actually having on students. Students are human beings, and I think the amount of pressure being placed on the students and the staff, I think, is just getting to the point where it's out of balance.
Standardized testing is certainly something that, and authentic assessment is something that we support as educators, but the emphasis on the high-stakes test, the one-size-fits-all testing, the snapshot of 1 or 2 days that are going to dictate that a school is a failing school or a child is not doing well in school just puts unreasonable demands and pressures on our kids, on our teachers, on our districts, and it's not what education should be about.
We want to show that the kid is more than just a score, whether they're basic, proficient, or advanced. They need to see the whole picture about who they are, what their interests are, what they're good at, what they're bad at, and those things cannot be measured based on a percentage. You have to really look at the whole individual.
The biggest change that's happened, and it's really been a negative change, is that we're spending an enormous amount of time teaching the test.
Literally sitting down and opening a book and learning how to fill out a bubble.
All that time that we're spending on that, we're not spending on teaching kids how to learn or to love learning.
There are fun activities that teachers that would do, like to reinforce a skill.
In which to debate or to think critically, those things are not tested.
Are you willing to give up art, music, drama, field trips, assembly programs, recess in some schools? That all of those scores come at a price.
Those things have been taken away because we have now so much time that's dedicated strictly to reading and math at the elementary level.
No child left behind, with rules but no funding, they're caught in a bind. So music and art and the things you love best are not in your school 'cause they're not on the test.
And it's not just the teachers and the kids that have to be held accountable, but there needs to be accountability on the part of the policymakers that pass these laws and set up these tests and then underfund. I mean, we've just had the costing out study done in Pennsylvania where, by its own admission, the legislature is telling us that they spend about $4.5 billion, that's billion with a B, $4.5 billion less than should be spent in Pennsylvania to meet the standards that the state has set.
As a comprehensive technical high school, as the Bucks County Technical High School is, we deliver the academic education as well as the technical education all under one roof. A career and technical student only has half the time of instruction that a non-career and technical student has on the academic side of the house. So our students are being tested on the same material that every other student in Pennsylvania high schools are being tested on. However, they only have half the time, because the other half the time they're immersed in their technical subject.
Special education teachers are operating under two conflicting laws. We're told under IDEA, the Individual with Disabilities Education Act, that we should instruct students at their ability level. And No Child Left Behind says we take those same students and test them at their grade level. And you may have an 8th grader who doing the best they can with the resources of a quality school district that's reading at a 5th grade level. And that 5th grade student has to take the 8th grade test.
That you take. Remember your teachers, their jobs are at stake. Your score is their score, but don't get all stressed. They'd never teach anything not on the test.
My kids, will do excellent on the QPAs, and they will sometimes struggle on my assessments because it really forced them to really know if they understand the content.
Well, a child is more than a test score. Any teacher that's spent any time in a classroom knows that a single test or even a series of tests will tell you a little bit about a child, but spend some time in the school, see what we do. Look at the wide range of students that we work with, the different abilities and sensibilities and intelligences that they bring to the school. There's no way that you can measure the great things that go on in the school or the great things about children based on a single test.
Please don't penalize schools for not meeting progress. Help them. That's what standardized testing should be used for, and I hope that they'll be used so in the future.
I tell you, once PSSAs are over, the culture, the demeanor of a school is completely different.
They should be learning a well-rounded curriculum. It shouldn't be narrow. It should include the arts. It should include gym class. It should include recess. That there is more to school than just taking tests.
Well, there is a great way, too, that you can reach those legislators and that you can let your school board, your local, state, and national lawmakers know how you feel about No Child Left Behind. That is to join Friends of Public Education. If you are not already a member, this is your official invitation to join. All you have to do is provide your email address. If you
progress, you'll learn there's a lot that is not on the test. Debate is a skill that is useful to know, unless you're in Congress or talk radio. We're shouting and spouting and spewing our blessed, 'cause rational discourse was not on the test. Thinking's important, it's good to know how, and someday you'll learn to, but some days not now. Go on to sleep now, you need your rest. Don't think about thinking, it's not on the test.